I have no idea why I'm nervous to make this video at all. I don't even know if this video even has a purpose. I've gone through this thing kind of a lot where I just decide I want to make a video. I don't even know what I want to make a video on. I mean, I guess I could just update on what I've kind of been up to. Why this channel's been kind of dead. It's been dead because I don't really care, is the thing. Never really had it as like a dedicated audience kind of thing. It's always been more or less for the memes, for whatever I really feel like doing in the moment. And now I'm at a point where there's nothing I want to do anymore. And so I need to do something. That's all. I mean, like, I got this thing. This thing, for the Switch. For this thing. Yeah, I got this thing. I mean, like, I don't have a video capture device that would allow me to, like, play video games and record them properly for y'all, other than PC games. And even then, that drives my CPU right off the rails. Just having Discord open while I play Dauntless it's insane. I've been really, really enjoying playing through a couple of smaller games, working on my own game again. Like Hollow Knight is an amazing game. Like, I would love to do game reviews and stuff, but I don't have a way to get that game footage, and I don't know how to cite other people's game footage or realistically like create my own, and so I'm just kind of left with this. I would also love to review anime. Would be another thing I would love to try and do here. But again, the issue of copyright and not doing things right. Because a big reason why I want to start reviewing anime right now is because I feel like no one cares about my opinions on anime, and so I feel like that'd be a good place for me to start. But I hold a very unpopular opinion when it comes to some anime, and I just finished all 26 episodes of Cowboy Bebop, and I just thought it was an alright show. It's good, but it's far from the best thing I've ever seen. Like, I would argue that Gurren Lagann's a better classic. They're two completely different genres, but whatever. And then my favorite anime of all time, without rival, is this right here. Doesn't have its name in English, but it's Anohana, which is the flower that we saw that day. And I think it's a great anime. Very, very, very relatable characters. That I feel like everybody can relate to, at least one person in the show. And that's something that I just didn't get out of like something like Cowboy Bebop. Like, I get that show's like a classic where it's like, hey, like, life is a struggle. Not everything comes out good. Like, there isn't always a happy ending, which is kind of a point of Cowboy Bebop. It didn't really make its goals clear for me. Like, as a TV show, it was really episodic. You could watch the first 3 episodes and then the last 2, and then it would have no effect on how you perceived the last 2. It would just be the exact same, because the last 2 required its own exposition that was not accomplished anywhere else during the show. Well, I mean, mildly, but I think there were a couple references to it, but it just, the show did not really feel like it had an impact. It was like, hey, don't like live in the past and life isn't fair, that kind of stuff. And that's all fine and dandy, but I mean, like, come on. Like, there are so many better ways that you could have really done that. You can still have an overarching plot and follow that same thing. And so many people have been telling me, like, the last two episodes of Cowboy Bebop are unbelievably worth it. And so, what I did whenever I rated this anime was, I don't have a scene pulled up for me to show y'all, but I did a rating by, like, each category that I value. And so I can pull it up for myself so I can read it to y'all. But like, I really care about music. I gave it an 8 out of 10. It was pretty good music, pretty solid. I like jazz. You like jazz? I like jazz. It's pretty good. The overall plot, I gave it out of 5 out of 10, and I gave it those 5 points because I was like, I get that the plot is that there is no plot, and the whole point of the show is that these people would just go on living their lives, and the story is how they interact with the world, and how they deal with it, and how they deal with their past, and how they deal with problems that come up when that past catches back up to them. The impact left is 6 out of 10 is what I gave it, because I was like, I already knew that life wasn't fair. It didn't it's not going to leave, like, a lasting impression on me, is the thing. Like, not living in the past, like, this is all stuff that I've heard before, and it wasn't through Cowboy Bebop, it was through, like, friends and family and parents and stuff. Well, I suppose parents are part of family, whatever. The characters, 8 out of 10. Love Ed, love Ein, love them to death. Spike is a cool character, Faye is an interesting character, Jed is an alright character, and so overall 8 out of 10 for those characters. And then there was just, like, a couple of other, like, characters that were thrown in that I guess we were supposed to care about, like Julia and Vicious, and I don't remember her name, but the shopkeep owner who, spoiler alert, I guess. I mean, I don't know her name, so I guess it's not a spoiler, but the one who dies in the last two episodes, in the last episode, actually. The average episode score, and I didn't include the final two because everybody was telling me that the final two were, like, this big whole thing, and so I was like, okay, I'll separate them. And so the average episode score was 3 out of 10, because I was like, I don't see points in these episodes. They're not progressing a story. They're not doing anything, is my issue with it. And that's honestly, like, a lot of the show. It's very modernist now that I think about it. Like, thinking of, like, Waiting for Godot, the play by Samuel Beckett that I only know anything about because my teachers told me about it because I didn't read it like I was supposed to. Is just how we spend time is kind of like the point of, like, Waiting for Godot, and I guess that's kind of like the point of Cowboy Bebop. And granted, like, it helps answer some questions of, like, what would crime look like, blah blah blah, and, like, all in, like, this future setting, what would debt look like, what would interplanetary space travel look like, and it was really just alright. I didn't really care for a bulk of the episodes. I found myself watching the anime and just pressing through because of the promise of the final two being so good. More specifically, the last episode being so good. And honestly, I feel like one of my friends says that he just likes the last two episodes a lot, and I feel like I know why, and that's because, spoiler alert, protagonist dies. I don't care. I'd never felt attached to that protagonist at all. And so final two episodes got a 7 out of 10 for me, because I was like, if these two episodes were, like, their own plot, like their own, like, mini movie, I'd be fine with it. it would make it as much sense. Maybe you do like a little bit of like introduction to the characters before that, and like maybe include like maybe do like episode 3 and episode 25 and 26, and you make a movie, and it's all done. Animation 9 out of 10, liked it a lot. Comedy was 5 out of 10. Thought it was okay. Some of the jokes weren't really that funny. And, yeah, it was average level comedy. And so, overall, it got like 6.4 out of 10 for me. And so, for a lot of other people, this anime is like a masterpiece. It's like a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, stuff like that. And I clearly disagree. And, the thing is normally whenever I do like a full breakdown like this, it actually scores lower. So like if I take one of my other like, if I take actually another one, if I take a 10 out of 10 anime for me and I actually break it down fully, it'd probably actually score closer to like an 8 out of 10. But that's just the thing, is like, this anime, like right off the bat, as soon as I finished it, I was like 4 out of 10, 4 or 5 out of 10, something like that. I was like, I did not really care for it. It did nothing for me. When I told my friend that, he accused me of just being like, you just don't like slow-paced anime. Like, it can't be slow-paced if there was no pace. Like, the fact that it's fully episodic, and the only reason why you need the last 2 episodes is because they're a two-parter. It just kind of screams to me like this show was pointless. And I get that some people refer to it as a classic. I think Anohana is a better classic. I think it's solid. And keep in mind, like 9 out of 10 for how old that thing is like, I'm not giving it any bonus points or anything there for being old and looking good like for its time. I mean, like, it still looks good. Like, that animation still holds up, and I like that. That's why I gave it a 9 out of 10. But yeah, and so if we take another one of my anime of all time, I'm pulling up my anime list right now. And you can find me on my anime list under Zeus043 if you're ever curious as to what I'm watching. I don't know if it makes all that public. Isn't this like... I finished the show, what? Oh, completed. Submit. Dunzo. Okay. We'll sort by score. Alright, so I only have 3 10 out of 10 animes of all time. One of them is Gurren Lagann, another one is Anohana, and the last one is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. So we're going to break that one down a little bit, because this one's average score was 8.5. And so, you know, when you take a look at Cowboy Bebop, its average score was 8.82, and I gave it a 6.4. So, if we go to Rascal, right, the stuff that I got from Rascal is, it accomplishes, I think, 5 arcs. Let's see here, Koga, that's her name, that's right. Mai's little sister. They're just referred to the same last name, so it's like Sakura Mija. I can't pronounce it. And then Sakura's little sister. See, this is why I would have to immediately deduct points, because I don't really remember their character names, but that's because, they aren't... Oh, wait, there's a character list right here. Okay. So, yeah, Koga, Kaide, Rio. So, yeah, it goes through a couple arcs. It goes through Mai's arc, Koga's arc, Kaide's arc, Futaba's arc, Notika's arc, and I feel like there was one more. No, that's probably it. But anyways, so it goes through those 5 arcs in 13 episodes, right? And so the first 2 arcs each get 3 episodes. The next 2 each get 2. And then the last arc gets 3 episodes as well. And so the reason why I really like this anime is, one, it's cutesy as hell. 10 out of 10 on animation. It's honestly beautiful to look at. It's absolutely great. It's comedy, hits like a truck. Probably an 8 out of 10. Here, I'll write this down so I can get an average rating. We're just gonna use the new notes tab. So 10 out of 10 for animation. Probably about a 7 out of 10 for characters, because they're hard. It's hard to remember their names, and some of them are kind of like flat, if that makes sense. But like flat as characters, and I need to label these so I don't. So 10 out of 10 for animation, 7 out of 10 for characters. Probably an 8 out of 10 for plot. Simply because it's easy to follow. It's very, very interesting. It follows like this whole new premise. I really liked it. Comedy. I need to do this properly. I would give it probably around a 9 out of 10. All the jokes hit and they're really funny. The characters like stay, and they also like develop, which is why they have like a 7 out of 10. Is because the characters change, and they literally, the whole point of each arc is following one specific character's change, and then kind of in the background of each one you have Kaide going like the whole time. And so you also have Sakata, like his character change kind of going as well. The music, oh my gosh, 10 out of 10. I have the intro and the outro downloaded on my phone, or at least I used to, until I deleted the YouTube app and lost all my downloads. I'm gonna pull up what things I graded for Cowboy Bebop so I can be fair here. Right, so I graded music, overall plot, characters, animation, and then we take a look at impact left, right? And so this anime, for me, it was just really cutesy. It was a way to like gonna lie, feel like a tiny void in my heart that I felt at the time. It was also really enjoyable. Sakata is like this huge, like wise guy, and he actually knows like he helps people work through their problems, and he helps people face reality, which is kind of like what freaking Cowboy Bebop does, which is like following like Koga's arc in Rascal, right? Koga in the end has to learn to accept that she has to make the hard choice, and that no matter how hard she tries, the outcome will never be what she exactly wants it to be. And so she has to face her reality, which is literally exactly what they do in Cowboy Bebop, but I think they do it so much better here. And so I'm going to calculate the overall score the same way I calculated it, except know that Bebop gets a little bit of boost because it has its episodes separated, like its last 2 separated from the rest of the show. So keep that in mind. It's like, that one's like out of 80. I think this is going to be out of 70. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm missing something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's out of 8, so this should be out of 7. What am I missing? I already got comedy on there. I got animation on there. I got characters on there. I got impact. I got plot. I got. Do I just not know how to count? Is that it? No. 1, 2, 3, 4. What the heck am I missing here? Alright, hold up. Music, overall plot, impact, and characters. Those are the first four. Oh, I didn't do an overall episode score. That's what I'm missing. So, here we go. This is all going to be unedited, so I'm sorry I had to sit through that, but it's what you get for watching my videos. So, overall episode score for, bleh. By the way, I only do whole, like, integers. But then the final score comes out to be, like, a decimal. So, that's how I rate anime. So, overall episode score for Rascal. This is kind of tough, I'm not gonna lie. Probably give it a 9 out of 10. Simply because the last episode is a little bit weird in how it ends. They're kind of saying that they're gonna do like a movie or something to like wrap up the relationship between the two main protagonists, and I mean, like, I'm all right with how it ended. I think it's fine. But all the episodes were very, very interesting. They followed very interesting characters, each with their own unique problems that they were facing. And so I liked it a lot. So its overall episode score would be a 9 out of 10. And so now we do the math. We go 10 plus 7. I have a thing for this. Plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 8 plus 9 is equal to 61. Alright, so now we're going to delete that all real fast. We're going to go 61 out of 70. Wish I didn't hit enter because it just opened Bing. But it's an 8.7, right? So my actual 10 out of 10, when I do a full score breakdown, loses 1.3 points. Cowboy Bebop gained 1.4, so you know what? Put that to your own test. Alright. It's just important to, like, recognize, like, yeah, it's on my anime list as a masterpiece right here, because I really do love the anime. But, yeah, so that was, like, kind of an introduction to, like, an anime review. I would love to give y'all some visuals, but like I said, I don't know how the copyright thing here works, and so I'm just kind of stuck like this, and just kind of talking to y'all, because I know how much you guys love to look at my face. Yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll actually start doing this, and I'll start doing like full score breakdowns with a little bit of explanations as to why I decide to break these things down like this. I might do my next video on Full Metal Alchemist, because that thing's like a 9 out of 10 for me, I think. That's on my anime list is where I put it. But, you know, we'll get to that next time. See y'all. Eat some Cheez-Its. I'm really hungry. I don't have any in my room.